very excited to be on today.
Rolling yet? Sorry. Can you wait for the countdown? Okay, now we are rolling. Okay, well, let's start the show. Have a great show, guys.
Hi, this is Dr. Ashwini from the Holistic GP. This week we are speaking to James Short. Now, for the past 20 years, he's been coaching people on becoming better versions of themselves, which in turn helps them grow their business and become better leaders within their business and within their homes. He's an ultra endurance athlete competing in numerous Ironman events and ultra running events. And his next adventure is coming up in September. And he's running from Sydney to Melbourne, which is 1,400 kilometers. Wow. Now, James and his wife Nat have pooled their expertise and have created the Parent Nest, which helps couple transition into parenthood with confidence. He has created the Real Dad program specifically for dads, helping them become better fathers, husbands, and men. So the author of The Living Your Dreams, and he's been on numerous podcasts, TV shows, and events, and he's here today with us at the Holistic GP podcast, speaking to us and giving us all the insights of becoming a great person and great dad. So James, thank you, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's like
Who's she talking?
intro. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, James. So
Yeah,
So it's an honor to be here.
yes, so last time we spoke about me, so now I'm really excited to understand your story. And can you just tell us about yourself? What made you what is the process that brought you here?
Journey. I'll give you the short version. So at the age of, I was very lucky
that
and the reason why I say lucky
because
to do in relationships,
you know
not communicating
communicating
at that time, and my mum communicated,
and
and it just wasn't working. And that quest of, right, wow,
how can I
5-year-old you didn't know at that time, towards
developing my personal
development courses, having,
amazing,
and that got me in the quest of
learning more.
back.
So
To spend a lot of time in history where we owned a couple of fitness centers,
and
and that
led me
helping
business
versions of themselves in business and see their
own, and
and then also then being better. Is when we have a beautiful crossover of good family life
that
also helps the business life.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2000,
and
coming together with my amazing wife,
who
24 years now, got
3
and
that's we've created what's called
we're helping parents transition into parenthood.
with
Love,
love,
as you mentioned, love my ultra endurance races.
but just,
And really,
so
share something.
to
I need to walk
I
that
need
stuff
so
so people
people
can actually see it works.
either
One,
one, but
got to walk the talk.
Fantastic. I mean, I think that's amazing what you've done. Now, so how does competing in ultra endurance, I'm really interested in that to know about you. How do you get the mindset to do that, James? Because it's a lot of training, it's a lot of discipline. It's a lot of time away from family and work. So
yeah,
how did you get into the mindset, and what is that clicks for you that makes you do that?
Started was
was back
a friend of mine said,
more.
Shorty, there's a little run in Sydney from the city into Bondi Beach.
Like if you
See
see
my
my
body,
body,
I'm 5'9", I'm stocky because I like
the gym,
the knees.
and he's
Anyway, we
set
set
the goal.
it into them. He said, oh,
How about
1K? I said, why would anyone want it? marathons and athletics into Ironman events, which is 3.8 kilometer swim, 180k.
When do you get to do that?
No way. So that's just a couple of years ago. Trail running, so running 100 kilometers
A couple.
the Big Red Run,
Which is
desert
in Australia.
the world's largest.
See,
All you see is just sand dunes. So 200 kilometers sand dunes.
Wow.
Mindset and actually that question. I was to start out when I was training for a full. I was doing 150. That was too far out of. And I remember very, very precisely when I was training for my first
ultra endurance
South Wales.
previous to that was 42 kilometers, which is a side mile.
How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this?
How am I going to do this?
Family. How am I going to fit it all in? And I started to hang around the ultra endurance marathon runners.
And what I realized,
Part of their community run 6 already.
and this was
Alps. I've just run 500 kilometers. Like language started to become
the
my paradigm into this new reality of like, wow.
and when
Actually, did my first ultra marathon. It's like, wow, I am
I'm old,
no, not fast.
but I've
And so now
speak
kilometers paradigm of
running 100.
who do you hang around with in all aspects of life? It's important in
If that's what I believe in my health
and these races. Well, who am I hanging around with?
with
My relationships,
who am I?
mindset, and so looking at all
Last,
a stock take of
who am I surrounding myself?
game.
The
The other
other
aspect is that getting these races and the mindset around it is the breaking
it down,
just goal. Even
going
is what's the first check station?
station.
Yeah, let's just focus on that. What's the next check station? 10
kilometers.
And so before you know it, you're just focusing on what's in head,
Check
station to
check
station to check station,
before you kilometers.
surrounding yourself down
Down
that bigger goal
into
so you can actually get through it.
Wow, that's fantastic advice. So it's something that doesn't happen automatically. It's something planned. You need to plan on doing this and achieving this. Am I right?
yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
And the ability to wins and then go a little bit,
Bigger.
start to build up that way. Confidence that builds your ability,
That build
that you need. So
definitely achieve.
Nah, that's wonderful. That two advice you've given us here. Now, this is my favorite topic, parenthood, and I'm really wanting to know it from a man's perspective, from a dad's perspective. So, can you tell us about how this Real Dads program came about?
my wife now, she's she moved into
The education
teaches a program called
today
two-day program helping couples.
and so
Couples there,
and
and of really looking at the beliefs and behaviours around birthing,
get the
woman
woman
ready, getting the partner ready, what's the role of the
part.
team.
But what
Even though
it's
there was a real gap. And so what I realised that's to transition into parenthood,
to transition,
time. And so that's where I came up with the Real Dads
program.
process.
And this
Growing up kids, you can have thinking
about getting
4 key areas that we look at in the is respect. Is how do like what are we doing to respect our house? You know, are we drinking a lot? Are we smoking a lot? Do we have a game things that we're respecting ourselves? And then that relates to then how do we are you respecting your partner? How are you? That's a real important thing. Is then there's the emotional awareness. Is emotional awareness element to yourself. And it's not always about we love a problem to they need to be solved. Just usually need to
And be
support, having that emotional awareness. That emotional awareness, knowing when to for you, or knowing when to jump and go. And so that's the emotional awareness. Then the adaptability is be aware throughout the day. We have the father hat, we have the working hat, we have the hats. But what happens a lot of the time from put all the hats on at once. On at once, it gets quite confusing. I've been caught out so many times where, you know, doing presentations and workshops. That same energy is not relatable sometimes at home down a little bit. So the adaptability piece is to the environment. Who's showing up at home? Who's showing up at work? Who's level with your partner? And it's about what are the characters in that environment. So is I drive in at home and I ask myself in the driveway, where am I? Okay, cool. It's the loving husband and the awesome dad. All right. Let's get a kinetic around that. I could see myself. When you feel it, when you see a past experience, you bring those characteristics, and it's a whole different. So that adaptability is so important. And the last bit is the L. Is that it's not that it's a component, but it's just the loving of coming back from your heart. And as you said, being and just being present with your partner, deeper emotional level.
Oh, thank you. So that's what real was.
And so we've had some amazing. Yeah, so that's what we're putting the acronym is real. It's emotional awareness. It's adaptability. We've had some great feedback, some great. And it's just beautiful.
So how does the program run? Sorry, James. I'm sorry. How does the program run? So is it a coaching session with yourself? Is it videos they watch? How do you do it?
Yes, yeah, so it's a program where we do done on Zoom, and we different areas. We're actually to do it. So guys, and actually downloaded the so that's what we're working on.
Wow. Now, this is another thing I really want to understand. So what do you think is the problem men face when, suddenly, especially first-time dads, when they find out the partner is pregnant and, they're not much involved at that point physically because they're not carrying the child and all. Of course, emotionally, financially, they are there. So when the child arrives, what happens to men? What are the emotions they go through? And at what point do you think the struggle begins?
question. It's such a beautiful question because guys feel that they need to, men feel that, right? And so sometimes to be center of attention, but when it comes into our lives, and obviously the main feeder, main caregiver, all the attention from the mother on the child, because obviously it needs to, and so therefore the mother is so focused with, and the partner can go, what about me? Of the whole identity of this relationship. Where's my role in this? What happened or what can happen and what I've noticed is then the guys go quite inclusive, question, because they don't have this. They communicate with their partner. It works to reach out and go, hey, well, is this what happens? This is what. First-time fathers, they can get so they sometimes can't see any solutions, and this is what have some communication. Just say, hey, I just want to run this past you, or even the partners, and just I think it's the bit of communication and start. That's where I'm at right now.
And so as a society, we have failed to educate men and dads about it. So why do you see some men are able to get it and some don't? Is it a parenting? Is it a learned behavior? So they are learning parenthood from their dad. So why is it working for some and some can't actually become, attached or become a good dad?
It's definitely a learned behaviour. At least through the birth course. We learn our behaviours around birth. Videos, Hollywood, right? And so we have screaming and, like, and so forth and so forth. Right? We're in the field and working, they'll have a get back to work. Whole belief, it needs to look like. But who says that's true? Where do you learn your beliefs? Where do you learn? Where does that behaviour come from? And unless you this belief that I have is really helping me or is actually really hindering me. And communication piece. Communication really of being an amazing father. Aspects of the communication that go talk thing that we have all the time. We've all got that little voice. To others. Let's have a belief of parenting. Good questions. Okay, so what do you respond? And so my belief is my belief. It's just like, well, let's come together and let's talk about how as parents, parenting is being good. Is how do we come together collectively? I think that coming back to the communication piece is so
So that's what it is. So basically, that I think what you're trying to say is aligning the parenthood with your partner, and actually sitting and talking about it, because new parents, they talk about everything, getting the nursery done or the private school you're sending your child to, all of that, but actually not sitting and talking on how we are going to parent this child together and what's your goal and what's my goal. Wow, that's a very good advice, James. Thanks for that. So,
and I think it's really important to have those conversations.
No, sorry. So why do you think in the medical system or in how health and everything is been planned, why isn't the dad been given more education or more insight in what's expected?
Question. It's looking at, I think it is changing. More resources for the there's more groups for the dads out there. There's more for the dads out there to bring mainstream health to promoting that. There's some programs. There's beautiful support for them. It is gaining momentum. It's support for the men, and for the reason why it's been gaining traction and gaining support is because of the mental of the increase in suicides. So when some further light around this, particularly for the support through these times in particular, to knowing that there are groups, there's like a beautiful group called Mentoring Men is mentoring men, literally that. Support one another, so that really can all different types of conversations from parents to life in itself. To provide for men at the moment. The world can actually really see that I can't help you, but here are some resources that would be a beautiful place to be.
Wow. Now that makes me just reflect back, because if I see it, I get a lot of my female patient base, new mothers coming to me for help. I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling, baby abuse, postnatal, there's a lot of it that they come forward. But actually, to tell you the truth, I mean, I've been a doctor for a while now, but I've got less than 5 men come forward with issues, regarding postnatal, because it also affects them. Their life has changed. It definitely affects them also. So I'm just wondering, so maybe, because we have routinely 6 weeks check postnatal for the mom, where we really look into her wellness, her mental health, all of it. But at no point the dad is called in, and at no point he's given that advice or that support. Yeah, no one is checking in with the dad. So thank you for a very good advice. I think actually now GPs should actually put, rather than mom, we should put like a parent get in, or separately. Sometimes they may have different issues, to actually check in with the dad. But also, I'll tell you another thing. Why are men, they're not open with their emotions. Sorry. They're not open. Even when you ask them, they come in with the mom. I'll sometimes ask them, how are you guys doing? Oh, we are good. Other than the sleep, I'm good. So, maybe that's not a real good, or they expect to say that good. They're expected to support the wife there, and they are like in a supporting role where, they are not the main cast there. So, actually, when I look at it, yeah, we actually do not check in much with them in that first year of the baby.
And I think it's also the that are asked to guide needs to be very specific. So they're not. Traditionally, guys will give a one. Yeah, great. But if we go, cool. How does you sleep? How often are you communicating with your partner? What are you doing with the baby? Are you looking after you, father, at the moment? These are the questions that are becoming a bit more specific, so they can't get out of good or the everything's fine answer. Having some questions would be definitely for G.
Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, that's been a good learning curve for me. Now, another thing I saw this week was surprisingly two new mom. I mean, not new. Their kids are like less than 5 year old, two kids. And as soon as the second kid came and the household got a bit busy, the dad left.
Wow.
Why do you think that happens? Again, was it lack of preparation, lack of getting the help, or they just feel it wasn't what they signed up for?
Uh, yeah, there's numerous reasons why. It could have been around stuff expectations. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what are the expectations of the mother? What are the expectations of the father? What are the expectations of each other? In communication, what can happen with kids? Parents can get so focused that firstly they lose sight
Mm-hmm.
of filling their own cup up and themselves, and so again, where couples drift apart, the kids and helping and managing the kids, where there's no individual time to fill them up because they're so there's a couple of, once again, come back to around, well, this is where I'm at, this is how, okay, great, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm feeling, cup up, feeling good when I'm, you know, when I'm clear-headed, when I'm time, I to others. So once again, and having, and if that's with each other, great, or if that's with a counselor or a psychologist, but just so they can verbalize it and work ways out.
And what do you think, James, of the change of role that's been happening over generations? You know, dad used to be this authoritative figure, bringing home the money, and mom was the caregiver. And now we are slowly changing over to, you know, both parents are working, both are caregivers, both are, you know, there's different styles. So, how do you think men have transitioned along this fatherhood pathway?
I think it's beautiful where, you know, the women is out there, dads that stay home dad.
Mm-hmm.
They're both sharing it because it's both for their child. Like, it's not. They've both got a responsibility to look up to their parent. Behaviors based on the parent. If the father's always out, the child will yearn for the father's attention because they're always out working, and same with his mother. So to have synergy of parents, right? Having the ability, cool, right? Management times. Parents nowadays, yes, I strongly believe that. We ask, okay, why? Cost of living is, right? People like, not so much now, but they like finer things in life, so therefore they gain more and achieve more, and, you know, it's an expensive country to live in. But sometimes it's a question, at what cost? You know, needing to, you know, new car or new house or new. What cost is it costing us if we're taking it from our children? So once again, having that realization, is this helping me in doing these hours or doing that? Let's have some communication with your partner. What do we want to come back to instill in our children? Values do we want to instill in them because they look and to share the life. So if you want, go out and work. Well, okay, cool. And that's your viewpoint. But if you the conversation and you need to live it yourself, as a parent, you need to live it because your children.
Nice, nice. That's very good advice. Now, so what will be your top 3 advice to new dads? How can they embrace this journey?
Yeah, fantastic. To educate is around your child's growth, your child's development, things to really be part of the journey. For you to come together and share this yourself of how you can respect the different growth aspects, and just really educate yourself around that. Is the ability to keep communicating. Friends and stuff, to certain groups, or, you know, the key thing, courageous communication. To communicate the feelings of their, to get it out, it's a beautiful feeling.
Okay.
Thinking about certain things, it's just emotional leaving the body. Connects to the person that you're actually. So the first thing is education, communication, and the third. This is one of the in your life, and every time as you see your child grow and develop, my kids now, my daughter is 13, and my son just goes in a heart. So remembering each and every bit about being adaptable, being there, your child grow and develop, it's a dividends in so many different levels.
Wow. No, that's very nice advice. Thanks for that. So again, you said about books and all. Can you give us some books that have inspired you, or things that you have really found that was really beneficial in your journey, James?
Yeah. So there's some beautiful books. Lovely book called The Four Agreement. There's also some great birthing books out there. For God, is anything around on a tactical component, things around NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is that's brings things to light and actually make sense. They're the key. Yes, you've got to pick one for yourself and to go, you know what, this one feels good for me. It's amazing because that starts the partner and also for yourself. Anything to do around Neuralink, really about that communication once again.
Nice. Thanks for that. Now, so where can our listeners find you?
Yeah, come on over to .com.au. That's our, and we're on. So come on, reach out to us if you need support. Just reach out to us, and happy to theparentsnest.com.
Thank you for this amazing conversation, James. I mean, I learned a lot about how to support dads, as a doctor in the community, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners would have understood that yes, it's also a journey for them. We focus so much on motherhood and new moms and the support for them, but fatherhood is equally important. Having that good father role or role model in a child's life changes them tremendously. Because I have seen that. I have seen men who, and even girls who are struggling with dad issues, or the lack of the parenting support throughout their childhood and their journey. So this is something I have learned a lot myself, where it's really important to check in with the men to make them realize they're also equally important, and we're also supporting them and taking care of them. It's not just about your partner or your wife. So thank you for that. That has been a great learning journey for me too. And all the best for your ultra marathon in September. I mean, 1,400. I can't even imagine. Okay, so how are you preparing for that?
I'm privileged to be. Yeah, it's exactly
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, James. Thanks. Really appreciate it. We'll catch up soon. Thanks.
Definitely. Thank you. Bye for now.
Hi, guys. We have finished.